proliferation of jihadist propaganda online has established a new front in our battle against Islamist extremists. We are no longer hunting terrorists living in caves and who only communicate through couriers.
The spread of terror via the internet, old news. Every day we're smacked with it right on the social media face, along with the usual discussion of how to combat the killers and criminals that are right there for everyone to experience. But every day, perhaps even more dangerous, lies something called the dark internet, where law enforcement cannot go, where hackers, haters, and stone-cold killers can scheme almost untouched. Our guest is the Director of Security and Risk Services at McGladrey, a nationwide licensed CPA firm with intimate knowledge of what we're facing from the dark side. Welcome, Vinny Troia, to the Hardline. Vinny, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is fascinating because this is the internet. This is out there. Everybody knows it's there. So with all the multi-billions of dollars that an American government has at its fingertips and supposedly all the intelligence we have, why can't we crack it and actually get to the people there?
I mean, part of the problem is, this technology, Tor, which is short for the onion router, is built on anonymizing connections. I mean, literally what happens when you connect to it, you're actually connecting through a number of different gateways all over the world. So it's almost like when you see a sci-fi movie and you see, someone saying, the signal's bouncing between all these different cities all across the world. I mean, that's essentially what's happening. And so it's really become a safe haven for criminals at this point.
We can get to it, if I understand correctly. The government, anybody can get on this. It's just a matter of then tracing where the signal goes.
Exactly. And so the addresses aren't like traditional, www web addresses. They're much more, anonymized and a little more complicated. So you need a specific address to get to where you're going. But like you said, anyone can get to them. It's figuring out where they are that's a much bigger problem.
But who then puts this network together? Because if we're talking about bouncing a signal from one place to another, doing it 100 times, there has to be servers that it hits. There has to be internet cables that it gets through. So it would seem to me that there's still a signal that you should be able to track.
To some extent, yes. I mean, part of the underlying technology is really the technology that will allow it to do that. Whether it's there are servers in various locations that will help to sort of bounce a signal all over the place. But I mean, really, the way it works is it doesn't know sort of who it is when it receives a signal, and it doesn't really know the destination. It just kind of knows where it's sending it, but it doesn't know anything about it, if that makes sense.
Now, the servers that they're using here, as they bounce from server to server to server, are these legal servers that are set up for this purpose, or are they hacking into other servers and basically piggybacking?
No, I mean, the way it works is it actually uses other people's servers. It's almost like a torrent at this point. I mean, it uses different connections from other people's legitimate servers or legitimate Tor servers, and so it's it's almost like a shared community at that point where it's just bouncing everywhere.
Tell me what you said. Use the phrase Tor server. For those who don't understand, what exactly is that?
Oh no, sorry, a torrent.
Torrent. Okay.
Torrents are popular file sharing. It's a popular file sharing application where, I mean, it is used a lot for piracy, where basically, if you want to download something, and there are plenty of legal forms of, files you can download via torrents, but essentially, rather than downloading it from one location, you're downloading it from maybe 50 or 100 different locations to offset the load.
Best guess then, people are talking about the fact you can buy illegal credit cards here, you can buy IDs and passports, but what else? What really dangerous items, as far as we know or as far as we can tell, are being passed along the dark internet?
So the biggest thing, one of the most popular things, drugs. I mean, you can get any type of drugs you want. It has become a very big place to smuggle child pornography. That's a real problem. And you even have some of the activist groups like Anonymous who are going after these child pornography sites and helping to take them down, which is a plus for everybody. Another thing, I mean, you can purchase, licenses, passports, credit cards, things like that. And then you can even get hitman services. I mean, really, you can get anything on.
So you're talking murder for hire actually is out there. You have people who are out there selling their services openly when you get on this and you can see them advertise for it.
Yes, absolutely.
So then I got about 40 seconds left here. With the government, everybody trying to get through to this, what's the best guess on how to infiltrate that? And is there any sort of thinking process as to the U.S. government being close or anybody being close to try and trace these?
No, I don't think anyone's necessarily close. I think the best way to to find out who these people are that are running these servers are through other means outside of the Tor network. For example, the Silk Road, when it was shut down by a means that had nothing to do with the anonymous portion of the Tor network. It was something else completely that gave it away. And so it's those kinds of clues that live, sort of in normal cyberspace, if you will, that will help us find who these people are.
So basically, we've got to find where all these servers are. We got to take them out one at a time, but then every time you take one out, another 10 probably pop up.
Potentially, yeah.
Welcome to the world of the internet and the dark internet. And again, we would not suggest that anybody get involved in this because, quite frankly, this is not what you would consider to be a place where you'd find Disney films. Vinny, pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much for giving us an explanation.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate that. And the government continues to work on this, but as of now, not even close to figuring out how to track it down. Scary indeed. The fastest 60 minutes in news continues.